Hey folks, this is ioEther and we're back with some more World of Tanks. As you can see, this is Extreme Unicorn Warfare and his Skorpion G. This is a tier 10 game on Highway. And so, this is the tier 8 German tank destroyer, the premium kind. And so yeah, this should be a great game. Now for some reason I don't know why this started after the intro. I assume he just barely loaded in time, and no, I can't figure out what those white things in the corner are either. So, great. Now that we got all that sorted out, if you want to support the channel, as always, hit the like button. Oh, speaking of the like button, I should pause the video for a second and talk about this. I will be running weekly contests or giveaways or whatever you want to call it from now on, and the only way to enter is to be featured daily. So like the stars each day, in this case Extreme Unicorn Warfare. We've already seen NASA and Ninja this week, along with obviously other folks. And so all of them, I'm gonna look at how many likes each video gets, and the one with the most likes each week will get 500 gold gifted to their account. So yeah, and that if you want to say thank you for that, please do thank our patrons, because that is coming out of the money I get from patrons every month. So thank you guys, and you guys are helping to kind of give back to the community a little bit, and I want to give back to the community, and this is one of the ways I want to start doing this. So yeah, so hit that like button if you want some gold, especially on any of your videos, assuming you're sending me stuff, which you should be if you want gold, right? Like, and it's not, so hopefully it won't turn out to be like the high. I don't want games. Basically, I want a fair system, one that wasn't me choosing the winner every week by like the most experience or something like that. The more fun the game is, the higher the ranks, the votes tend to be anyway. So let's just see how this works. So let's get into this game. And Extreme is looking for a spot, and he's actually being really aggressive. This is not a location I would have chosen myself, but that's okay. Enemy RU has split up most of our team, I'm sure. And yeah, we get hit by the LT, the T100 LT. Oh, and I'm not in fixed camera, my bad. And so unfortunately, Extreme bounces that off the top of the T-30's turret. Now if he's just shooting at the turret of the T-30, the front or even the side at this extreme angle while the T-30 is backing down a hill, it's unlikely he's going to penetrate the shot. He was aiming for the hull with that shot, but again, because it went high and hit that turret, it bounced. And, wait, what? Enemy Tortoise kills enemy RU-251. Maybe he was aiming for 105 and missed, and took out his own scout tank, and that would be horrible for them and great for us. But okay, so hello, Mr. T100. I know you hit us earlier for a couple hundred damage. Here's some return damage with some interest, you know. And now here's a Yagzilla sitting side on. Unfortunately, he turns, but apparently there's just targets galore. So I've sat in this bush for scouting purposes with a scout tank, but never as a tank destroyer. Obviously, if you can get yourself into here and stay camoed up, this is a great place to sit. We're going to talk a little bit about this shot for a second, as soon as I can get my cursor in there, all free camera mode anyway. So because of how angled forward the Yagzilla is, if you're going to shoot for that lower glacis, you're going to bounce. The upper glacis, you can probably pen that. It's something like 200 to 250 millimeters right now, because of how tilted down, flattened that armor is. And you can aim for the superstructure, of course, but really the best spot is actually not the roof, though you might think it would be. The roof is actually 60 millimeters thick. At this angle, it's something like 100. You could go through that, but you can't like overmatch it. Whereas the deck of the Yagzilla, right above the upper glacis, right below the superstructure, that deck is 40 millimeters thick. Now, even angled like this, it's going to be more than that, obviously, but you can overmatch that with so many guns that is worth shooting at in this kind of situation. Don't ever go for the Lower Glaciers when tanks are over-angled like this. Now, I'm sure Extreme knows this, and he, of course, aims for that deck shot and puts one straight into the ioEther. Does he put a second one in? No, in fact, he goes way over here and puts a tracking shot into the SU. Unfortunately, we don't get any of that good tracking damage, even though he definitely put that... we definitely are the one who caused the tracking damage. Though he does put a blind shot into the RHM. Now, we don't see that hit, but I'm 90% certain, as you are, I'm sure, that definitely did damage. Oh yeah, look at that. RHM pops back up again. He's lost like half his health. T-30's in the open and pops a nice clean shot into that T-30. Damages the tracks, but unfortunately doesn't take them off. And so we unfortunately don't get that good tracking damage. Though looking at the side of the ioEther, again, pumping a shot into him. And just, well, that guy's got to be in pain. So puts a second shot in. And just, I mean, if he's just going to keep giving us his side, then we're just going to keep putting damage into the side of this tank. I don't know what this ioEther is. No! Oh, that is just... that smarts not reading a ioEther enough to drop a shot into him. And now he's got to aim for that cupola if he wants to pen this thing. Or apparently just wait until he gives us his side again. Because this guy just wants to die. And he keeps turning his side to all our friendly tank destroyers up here. Us included, obviously. Unfortunately, we lost about a third of our team at this point. Okay, apparently, so the scores are tied once again. But everything on this side of the board has been cleaned up or off. And so now we're just looking to take out the guys over here on the other side of the board, the southern side of the board. Now we do have a T-30 and a T-28 or T-28 way up there. And they're getting themselves flanked. If they're not really careful, they're going to get themselves taken out without or before backup can get to them. And there's no way you hit that shot. But obviously he is aiming for it. He wants to take it. T-69 rolls backwards instead of going forward, and therefore that shot becomes not worth taking, which is perfectly fine. T-28 is going to die right here. There's no way they're going to survive this being flanked and everything. And now we're past half of our team dead. And this is where it starts to count. Not being in the open, not leading the charge, and definitely not getting shot. Because, of course, you can almost never count on your team to win this for you. So, ooh, look, E100, more or less in the open. He's got the gold loaded. Unfortunately, not able to hit a clean, flat spot. If he'd hit the front plate of that E100 turret flat, then that should have gone through. Unfortunately, he was turning and moving at the time, and we didn't hit it flat, and so it didn't go through. That IS-3, though, suffers absolutely no chance from that IS-3. E100 looks like he's loading. Or aiming or something. He actually probably took a snapshot. Somebody was now loading up. Now you can tell from the map, the Extreme has this artillery maybe as backup, but we can't tell where the artillery is aiming. The rest, that E100 though, is going to have to get taken out solely by us if we hope. So he's switching between premium and AP. As he thinks he needs what. Preferably he's going to use premium to take out the E100 because of the fact that it's still an E100. Now, E100 just fired, meaning we know for a fact he's not going to be firing again for a little bit of time. However, enemy artillery can definitely take us out if that shell connected. This would be a dead Skorpion, more or less. And you can see him poking up just far enough to bait the shots from the E100 and then falling back away again so that we don't get hit. Now it's possible that Skorpion G could brawl with an E100, but preferably the Skorpion is going to want to remain hidden and out of sight while the E100 spins around in circles, wondering why it's dying, kind of thing. Now, this is not how Extreme's going to play this. Obviously, he's pushing way up here. Looks like he's actually going after the tortoise, where the tortoise is in the open. And he puts a blind shot in, but I'm pretty sure that connected. And that was his gold rounds before he switches over to standard AP to go after this E100. Now we have the flank of the E100, but because the E100 stopped moving forward, we actually lose that beautiful flank shot. Though he somehow manages to again just absorb a high tier round in a tank with absolutely no armor on it, and all it does is take his tracks off. This guy is either one of the best drivers in this thing, or extremely lucky. So, flat on to an E100. Somehow, the E100 fires, and this is the only part of the tank it clips. Because if it hit anything other than this, we wouldn't have had our tracks blown off without taking any damage. That shell just flew clean through here without clipping our actual tank. I wonder if that's an exit wound. It feels like it should be. Well, now we know E100 just fired. As soon as the tracks come back up, again, we should be able to move forward and put a round into his lower glacis. Yep, just like that, and then roll back away. Now the only problem with this is if artillery decides to get in on this duel, then we're going to have a problem. Friendly already gets in on it. I think enemy artillery actually missed us. Yep, enemy artillery just barely missed us. Didn't even feel it though. So that's good. And now, in this situation, there's a couple of things you can do. This top bar is actually a weak spot, and if you have the time, like say you track him first, then you can aim for this and take him out that way. Other than that, though, you can't see enough of the tank. Now, there is one other thing you can do. I'm going to take the cursor off, just so I can keep the outline going while I do this. You can actually see these raised fan vents for his engine. And they actually come up just a couple of inches above the deck of his tank. You can pen those, and they pen for the same thickness as if it was an artillery shell coming straight down into the top of the tank. So that's something like 30 or 40 millimeters thick back there. If you're looking down into him, you can definitely do that. Now, it's another tricky shot. You preferably want him tracked, or for some reason he's not moving, and you can go ahead and take that shot. But this is exactly what you don't want to be looking at, is straight down the gun barrel of an E100 who's about to kill you. He can... Now, it's a gamble, because an E100 does 750 average damage. If Extreme is in this location when the E100 fires, we're going to get hit. If we only get hit for 750, we're okay and we can kill him. If he rolls high, though, this could be the end. However, that's not what happens, as in fact, Extreme puts a shell through the cheek, the side plate of that front-facing turret, flat front of the turret, puts a gold round straight through that. 311 pen is definitely enough to go through there, and that is at the end of that E100. So now back into fixed camera, we can see what he does for this game. But taking down an E100 in a tier 8 tank by yourself is definitely the highlight of this particular game. Good lord. There are too many other tankers who could have, and tanks for that matter, that could have pulled off what Extreme just did in this Skorpion G. This is my cheer for video of the week. Good lord. Oh, that was very, very impressive. Now however, he's got a T69 to deal with. The T69, to note, can clip him out with a single clip. 250 average damage per shell, 4 shells per clip. That means the T69 has the potential to kill him, assuming it gets 4 clean shells into him. And we fire 1, and then dodging return fire puts the hull of the RU-251 between himself and the T69. And we know the T69 fired 1 shell, so now it's only got 3 more left. Bounces 1, it fires 1 into the dirt, fires third one into us. It's got 1 more left in the chamber, and it looks like he might be bailing. If that's what he's doing, then Extreme's going to have to press the attack. Yeah, he's most likely reloading right now, and so I would go in for the kill. Extreme obviously is going in for something similar. He must be loaded as he's charging us now, or he's about to be loaded by the looks of it, but it's okay, because so is Extreme, and that is how we spend the last shell of the game, taking out the T69 and ending this thing. That was epic and awesome, and just a glowing use of such a it's a great tank, but nobody really seems to think of it as a great tank. Though obviously, when somebody just casually does 6,000 damage in it, yeah, you can start to see it as a good tank. I love that ending of the T69. That was a highlight, but still, that E100 battle was like the creme de la creme of this game. That was the pro plays of this game. This was just a lot of fun. Ace Tanker, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, Confederate, and High Caliber. Yeah, we're not surprised about that. Well done, sir. Look at that. He either hit 1 shot into each person, or 3. That's a very interesting pattern. Yeah, very interesting indeed. Well done overall. He in fact hit that 1 shell into the blind, or 1 blind shot into the RHM, so that it didn't count in the game, but obviously counted for the battle report, for the invisible damage and all that awesomeness. 1,600 base experience. Good lord, that is a 1 in a million type game. Well, okay, it depends on how skilled you are. For most people, myself included, this is a 1 in a million type game. For Extreme Unicorn, obviously this happens every other week, and thus we get one every other week. But that's just because of how awesome a player he is. Also, side note, 6k damage club, right? Oh yeah. And 4k of that was done at more than 300 or 400. Good lord, me and talking today. 4k of that was done at more than 300 meters. Well done, of course, because he was running... Wait, battle payments. So that must be a personal reserve then. So it did net him... No? That might be something else. But anyways, whatever. Either way, he made... before deductions, he made 200k. After deductions, he only makes 100k. Oh dear me, only 100k. Good lord, that's a lot of money and completely worth it. Even if he didn't have this extra bonus, it still would have been 50k, which is a great turnout. And so it's a great tank if you can do some damage into it. Obviously, he got into a great game for that, and just the enemies let him farm damage, which he obviously truly enjoyed. I would. It's really a great game. Thank you so much, Extreme, for saying this in. This is Extreme Unicorn Attack, or Extreme Unicorn Warfare, sorry. My bad. But I knew I was going to screw that up too. I was thinking, don't say attack, don't say attack. Of course, what do I say? I go and say attack. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, please hit that like button. From now on, that like button will be influencing who gets 5k. 5k, that's a lot more than I meant to. 500 gold at the end of the week. So on Sunday, we'll figure out who that is. I'll announce that. I'll also send them an email. Just can't by email doesn't work. The announce should work. And we'll see about getting some people some gold from now on out every week. So hit that like button if you think it deserves some gold, or if you just enjoyed the game. And thank you all for watching. Have a great night, and this ioEther out.